I'm your host, Rodney, joined by our permanent roommates, Josh, Brandon.
How's it going, guys?
We're here to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 5. Guys,
Ooh, man,
that episode was a little heavy. A
little bit.
Yeah.
More like a lot of bit, but sure. Yeah, we'll say a
A
little.
lot of ups and downs of emotion and
Lots of...
So let's talk about
Yeah,
it.
so let's dive in.
So fight scene is coming up, right? We're coming off the heels of FOCAP killing somebody.
Straight up.
Shield, straight up killing somebody. Shield
Mhm.
is bloody, tainted. We feel terrible. Like, what is going on with our Shield? What is going on with our Cap? Or our expectation of what Cap should be. So he's running down this alleyway looking thing. He gets into this factory. He's on his knees. He's having all these flashbacks of what Battlestar has told him, that the suit carries responsibility. So what are you guys thinking is going on in his head right there?
I don't think it's remorse.
Interesting.
At all.
I would agree with you on that.
At all. I think it's more him taking in what just happened and then him processing Battlestar Lamar's death. I don't think it has anything to do with him being like, oh dang, dude, I just straight up murdered someone.
No.
I feel really bad. I think he's just feeling like he's able to catch his breath and think, all right, this just happened. All right, let's go back to work.
So,
100%.
and not to jump to that, but okay, so I felt like there was some remorse, not necessarily for the death of the guy that he killed,
Nico.
but Nico. But I feel like there was guilt associated with Battlestar dying, is I guess what I was
Okay,
going
like
at.
putting that on him.
Yes, putting that on him. Like he
That's
was
fair.
taking on that responsibility.
Okay.
And Brandon, I think you talked about this a couple of episodes ago, or even last episode, that Battlestar was something that grounded him, and he lost that. And so Sam and Bucky come in, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, we need you need to calm down.
Give us the shield.
You need to give us the shield." The interesting thing to me is that I think we forget Sam is a grief counselor, or he was a grief counselor at one
Well,
time.
that comes out multiple times throughout.
And
the
so
Oh,
he's
absolutely.
trying to reason with him
Mhm.
and talk through that loss a little bit. And then when he says, "Give me the shield," that's when FOCAP just flips the switch. Oh, that's
Cat
it.
goes crazy.
He goes crazy.
He's crazy.
Yes.
He is
And-
so crazy.
Which is crazy.
So start the fight scene. Unpack that fight scene, guys. 'Cause it brought back memories of Bucky, Captain America, Iron Man.
So
Oh man, it was good. It was totally good.
The team ups were great. The way that we're starting to see Falcon and Bucky really connect and work together. I mean, let's be honest, that last moment where Bucky pretty much bat swings him into the shield. Oh my
That was pretty awesome. That's pretty
I
awesome.
mean, this fight scene, man. I sitting down watching it. I have not cheered for somebody to get the crap kicked out of them in a long time. Even
That's-
Thanos, like when you weigh those two,
Mhm.
and this makes me think of going off into another series of Harry Potter. Like Voldemort's the big bad, but then you have Professor Umbridge come in, and you hate her guts.
You hate her more.
Yeah, you almost hate her
Oh,
more, and that's the
absolutely.
first thing that popped in my head. I'm like, I really hate FOCAP. Like I hate him.
Yep. No,
There-
I agree. It was a great feeling seeing him get
Oh
slapped
yeah,
around.
when they broke his arm.
Oh,
hurting that shit
God.
up. Break all his
love it.
limbs.
And see, I even tell Sam, of course, he's not super strong like Bucky
Yeah.
is and all that.
Yeah.
But the fact that you continue to see him being very resourceful with his suit and using the jetpack to just smack him.
Yeah.
Oh God.
He's got to bring
Oh, that was
something,
great.
right? Because he doesn't have that super strength. But in that fight scene, you can see that he matches up with Bucky, punch for punch,
Oh, yeah.
strength to strength. And,
Yeah.
and so it was very interesting to see how those two would be able to just kind of unpack him a little bit. And like you said, at the end of the day, break his arm, take the shield.
Not even that. Like Bucky just dropped the shield almost of in front of Sam,
Don't give it away.
almost like
Yeah. Oh
Don't
no,
screw it
that
up
was
again.
yeah. That was 100% what that was.
Yeah.
Just here's this back,
Yeah.
and let's just leave that there.
Get to work.
Get to work.
So next scene is Sam talking to Torres, right? And Bucky is off, assumingly to go get Zemo.
Mhm.
And a little conversation there with Torres. in regards to what they're going to do next. Sam leaves the wings. So tell me what your insight is on that.
So Torres in the comics also becomes the Falcon at some point. And that was, I believe there's a little crossover there where Sam, for a time, takes the mantle of Captain America.
Yeah.
So I think we get a small Easter egg there. Now, whether it actually ends up happening within the MCU, maybe not, but at least it was nice to kind of see some homage there. Like, it almost kind of takes you back to Iron Man, where Rhodey has a chance to get in the suit, and we know eventually he becomes, I forget what his name is.
War Machine.
War Machine, thank you.
Oh, right.
Or Iron Patriot.
Unfortunately, it wasn't Terrence Howard. It was Don Cheadle that kind of took that role.
That's
In
true.
between Iron Man.
That's true. But anyways, it was very similar to that moment where he's like, ooh, next time.
Next time, baby.
So at the end of that, with Sam indicates that the government's kind of taking jurisdiction over the case, and can't really do anything. So Bucky goes off to get Zemo, and Sam goes home. So next scene, oh my goodness. So we have the trial, right? And so you have FOCAP, kind of facing the Senate, facing other folks that are going to be pretty much stripping him of his identity. And so they remove all his rank, take the Captain America title away from him, and really just take him to the lowest of lows that he's ever been, because he closely tied who he was as a person with where he was in a military setting, and tied all of that together. So you feel for him in that moment.
I was about, that's the only point in this series so far where I've felt like, because they took benefits too.
That's terrible.
That's like
Those
almost
are
like
hard,
a last straw type of thing where he lost it after that. That you feel bad for him, but then you quickly remember when he loses control again and goes crazy, that he's Captain America.
Which is crazy.
Immediately after that, he's having a conversation with his wife, right? And they're kind of unpacking what his next step should be. His wife's letting him know, hey, you need to go see Lamar's parents. And in comes a character that I don't think anybody was expecting, right?
No.
I had to Google her because I had no clue. I think you sent me some Google.
You didn't watch Seinfeld?
Yeah.
No. I knew who the actor was. I didn't know. I didn't know who the character.
I remember Seinfeld, but I also remember Christmas Vacation.
And why is the carpet all wet, Todd?
I don't know, Margot.
So Val comes in, kind of drops down this, I know everything kind of vibe, and lets him know, hey, you're valuable to me.
Yep.
I'm going to reach back out to you, and I'm going to use you for my next kind of thing. So who do we think she is? Does she have a relationship with the power broker? What are y'all's thoughts on all of those pieces? Because she's kind of a pull the strings kind of person, it appeared at least.
Yeah, no, she has a lot of interesting history. So there's times where, of course, her parents were spies on one level and they ended up dying. So there's a little backstory there for you. But the thing that's really interesting is her involvement with S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times where she kind of takes a lead role in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Also has a minor love interest with Nick Fury. So there's a little something there. So anyways, there's that. But she also has been known as Madam Hydra. Now, granted, that part of the story, she infiltrates Hydra secretly in a means to an end. Kind of very similar to how it was with Zemo. You're bringing them into the mix there just to kind of get whatever you need. She did the same thing in order just to disrupt some stuff. But there's still some interesting ideas there where that might all come full circle. Maybe there's some Hydra tie-ins, maybe not.
So we transition over to the Zemo scene. Bucky goes to Sokovia, finds Zemo there at the shrine, and he's kind of paying his respects. And they have an interaction there. Unpack that interaction and how much depth there is there in regards to Bucky's character development and him unpacking all of that previous programming that was done by Hydra. Talk a little bit about that, because that scene is huge just for him.
That's probably my favorite scene of this entire series so far. I've come to, I think a lot of us that watched this series so far have come to actually like Zemo a lot. And I took this as, we talk about a redemption story for Bucky. I almost felt that for Zemo. when basically he wants Bucky to shoot him.
Mhm.
And you get that tie-in back to Civil War with T'Challa and Zemo when he tries to shoot himself. But
That's true.
I think when Bucky drops the bullets, I think it's like almost a weight is off Zemo's shoulders a little bit. Like
Mhm.
that Bucky forgives him. At least that's how I took it
Mhm.
for the whole Civil War situation, and kind of goes quietly.
It was a very surreal moment, and just how calm the whole setting was. You didn't really feel a lot of tension there.
No.
It was just
Peaceful.
a very peaceful homage there. And
Even
then,
with the gun drawn, I was just like,
oh yeah,
I mean, obviously knew he wasn't going to shoot him, but
Mhm.
just the way it played out was, I don't know, the little trick of him actually pulling the trigger and
Mhm.
just getting the click.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think that reveals Bucky really.
Oops.
My bad.
That'd have been terrible. All right, keep going. Sorry.
Yes. Sorry. But anyways, I think that does start, or at least really kickstart, or jumpstart his redemption for himself.
Yeah.
As we learn a little bit later in the episode as well. But it was this beautiful scene.
So they take him on their
Raft.
shape situation, and they take him to the raft.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about the raft. Where do we know the raft from? It's been in previous movies. Unpack that, and are we setting up for Thunderbolts?
Of course, y'all point that towards me. Yeah. So we do see the raft in Civil War. That's the facility that Thunderbolt Ross has in the middle of the freaking ocean somewhere, and obviously that's where Sam,
Red Hulk.
yes, all of them were.
There's my
Sorry.
tie-in. There's my tie-in.
I wanted to happen. I really do. Hulk out. Sorry, I'm sorry. Anyways, yes, no, I do believe you're right. I think with the raft, you got to bring in the Thunderbolts in some way, because that's Ross's whole thing.
So I have another theory about Ross too.
So is Val associated with that in some way, shape, or form? So that's my thing. So
I don't
like, if
know.
she is recruiting FOCAP, and we're sending Zemo to this raft situation, like, why would they give us all of that if potentially that's not what they're trying to set up? That FOCAP, maybe U.S. agent FOCAP, is going to lead this group. It would be, and so for those of you that don't know, Thunderbolts would be Marvel's equivalent of Suicide Squad.
Right.
So it's these really, what is it? They take years off of their sentences and whatnot.
Well,
Some of these folks are serving
I don't know
multiple
much
life
about-
sentences.
Yeah. I don't know.
Suicide Squad or Thunderbolts for that matter, other than
Yeah.
what we've seen in the movies.
Yeah, Suicide Squad's very much so, hey, we'll
Yeah,
take this off, but I don't think the Thunderbolts is quite the same way. I think that's set up a little differently. But yeah, I think it'd be really great to see that.
Yeah. So Sam actually goes and sees Isaiah Bradley.
Oh.
So that's a tough scene to unpack, because Sam is there to ask him what happened, right? Unpack what happened. It's kind of his missing piece of the puzzle before he's willing to just assume the mantle. And so him and Isaiah Bradley have really good, intense discussion about what Isaiah feels the government represents and what they did to him, what they did to his teammates.
Yeah.
I think the interesting piece in that shows a lot of imagery is that when you talk about the first Avenger, and when Cap goes and saves his crew,
did the same thing.
same thing, he comes back a hero.
Hey! Let's hear it for Captain America!
And Isaiah Bradley does the exact same thing and comes back and is thrown in jail
And tortured
and
Yeah.
tortured.
for 30 years.
Oh
Unbelievable.
gosh.
Maybe not tortured for 30 years, but in
Well,
prison for 30 years.
So
I
it,
would call that torture. I mean, if they're experimenting
Especially if you
on
were-
the whole time.
Guilty of anything.
that's a tough scene. That's a tough scene. Particularly, we've talked about this. Comics do this a ton. They talk about real issues that are going on in what we're living in. And it's really tough to swallow that a comic that was written 50 plus years ago, we're still dealing with the same situation right now. It's still relevant right now. That stuff is still out there. And so the series does a good job of reminding us that it's not gone away. So you have this hero from 50 years ago that dealt with the same issues, and you have Sam dealing much of the same things, and that he himself, because of the stigma, because of what the backdrop of everything, feels like he's unworthy, and so he is wanting this piece to get unpacked. So we transition over to Louisiana, a little bit of a lighter feel, right?
Right.
Because this dang boat, right? This boat.
Do you like the boat?
I
can't tell.
I hate this boat. It's like every time they turn around, something's breaking. Like, what is going on with the boat? Y'all. So
you just didn't have the right people there.
Goodness gracious. So Sam has a conversation with his sister. They're having some dialogue. Sarah unpacks, hey, are you going to let Isaiah get to you? Are you going to let his words kind of dictate your behavior moving forward? Sam shrugs that off. He focuses on fighting the fight that is his home front, right? He's been fighting the fight on two fronts, saving the world, saving home. And his sister indicates that he's done a good job of doing both. And so she was proud of him in that moment. And so unpack to me when Bucky gets there, because that is just special.
I just love that he flirts with his sister.
How you doing?
And Sam takes offense. Sam was like, stop flirting with my sister. It was a good scene. It was a good scene. So that again just talks about how much that relationship has come, right? It has come such a long way from Bucky just completely not wanting to have anything to do with Sam. Yeah, they pretty much hated each other.
I hate you.
And then all of a sudden, now Bucky's down there helping him out, wanting to kind of. It's like an unsaid situation.
Well, I feel like we kind of talked about earlier how like Bucky's actually smiling almost that entire time he's in Louisiana. So it's almost a maybe not Wakanda-like feel to him, but it's very therapeutic, probably, where it's just simple life.
Well, and honestly, that's really kind of the core of his character when you think about it. I mean, if you go all the way back to Captain America, the First Avenger, and his relationship with Steve and how he always wanted to be there for Steve, support Steve and telling him, and I'm going to paraphrase this, is just like, you don't have to do life alone. Yeah. Like he was very intentional with that with Steve. And I think we see a lot of that in these scenarios, and especially this one where he's telling Sam just by being there, like, look, I'm here for you if you want me to.
Yeah.
It was something that we needed. Yeah. Oftentimes, the Marvel movies, or particularly the series, don't give us a ton of closure. And that little space.
Or breathing room.
Yeah, it gave us some breathing room. Like, it's always, we jump from one parkour scene to another, and then we jump into a twist, and we never resolve anything, and it's hard to breathe in between all of that. This gave us a space to breathe, and I'm pretty sure there's a film term for that, but I'm not that smart.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about this whole training sequence, or it was a little silly. It was a little silly.
It's just crazy. So you go back to when Vocap was training with it, like all of a sudden he's just out of nowhere good with it. I'm like,
right,
all right. So yeah, it was interesting to kind of see. I actually like the flips, like Brandon was saying. Yeah. He's got to get used to moving, like being in motion, flips, corkscrews, whatever you want to say. Like, it's going to be happening during a fight.
Right. And if he doesn't have any more wings, then he has to learn how to be on the ground. So maybe that comes into play.
That's part of who he is, though.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, we do know that there's a box of something inside from
What's in the box? Theories section. So next scene, Sharon Carter. What is going on there? She's confused about her character.
Have my theories.
So she's talking to
Patrick.
Yes, and so she's hiring him for another job, implying that she hired him for the first job where Sam was having to capture the soldier that was, or
Yeah.
recapture the soldier that they had captured.
Mhm.
And so that to me is interesting because it kind of gives me a feel that she's playing both sides, or she's the power broker,
Well,
or something is
think-
going on.
Think about how like it's a little gray area, which has kind of been the theme of this episode, even from Val, where she kind of talks about the legal gray area of the shield there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all noticed the little business card that she handed them.
Black
It was-
and white.
It was white on one side, black on the other.
Yeah.
So she's kind of that, somewhere in between. So I that's where I kind of wonder if there isn't some, or is even Sharon part of this whole Thunderbolt transaction?
Yeah.
And is there, what does that tie into? Like, I don't know. And there is history with Sharon and with Val in the comics as well.
Yeah, Agent 13, Agent 14.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's it called? The Fem Force? I
Yeah.
think it's what it's called in the comics.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
I don't think they
And,
go that direction. But
I don't either, because there was also conflict between them when Val would flirt with Steve Rogers on
who
occasion.
can blame her?
No, you can't. That is, yeah, well, we'll move on.
Ass.
That is America's ass.
She's trying to infiltrate the Flag Smashers to a certain extent by going through him, by going through a different means to get to her end.
Because see, I was thinking she was using the Flag Smashers to get to the GRC.
Yeah, well, because, though, again, we know that she still isn't allowed back. She hasn't been pardoned, and maybe the GRC plays a role in that.
Could be.
I now have an interesting theory. This is probably not going to pan out this way, but this is just all
It's
prickling.
not
in my
Mephisto.
head. I know it's not. Dang it. All right. What if GRC is a form of Hydra?
Whoa. Hail Hydra, guys. Hail Hydra.
And because again, you got to think about the level of control that they have right now, and they're controlling society, they're controlling the borders, they're tightening things up. They have a very militarized style about going about all that. So all that could kind of tie in, and then maybe this is a means of like she knows what that is, and this is a way to infiltrate. I don't know.
My
I don't know.
thing-
Maybe that's a stretch.
My thing with Hydra is I don't know if I want to go down that road again.
Again, yeah, that feels
Yeah.
like walking
Rehash.
down the same path twice. Yeah.
But
Not
you
that
know,
they can't.
I
make their
find
way.
it hard to believe that they're completely gone.
No, you cut one
You
head
know.
off.
Yeah,
for
right.
return. Yeah,
Yeah, two more shot for
yeah. So I just don't. I mean, if they do it, they do it. But I'd rather not see Hydra become this big bad organization in the center of the MCU again.
Right.
So, Focap's crazy.
Yo, Hooch is seriously crazy.
So, end credit
Yes.
scene, our first one for the whole series.
Yeah.
And he's over there, Captain America style, beating on a shield.
You mean
creating
Iron
his own-
Man?
That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
right.
Iron Man
First,
style. Yeah.
Well, the first thing you hear is the
Ding.
noise. The last thing you hear in Endgame, you're like, Iron Man? No, he's just making his own
His own little mini shield.
his iron frisbee. That's
Yeah.
straight up what it is. Like
That's
if
all it
if
is.
that thing does what the vibranium shield does, I'm gonna be like, what
No.
the-
Yeah,
I don't
y'all
think
gotta
it-
get that together.
Yeah,
I don't
mean,
Can't
possibly.
throw it. If it's iron, there's no way he could. Well, he could.
Well, he could. Yes. I was about to say, what is that
But it
thing
ain't
even
coming
made of?
back. It's not
if
coming
that thing
back to
comes
him.
back, I'm gonna be like,
No,
No.
I'm not.
it don't work like that.
Physics, guys. Physics.
That thing does not obey the laws of physics at all.
So Sam
No,
pushes the
100%.
button right into his mystery box, his loot box.
I think we all know
And,
it's
It,
it's not a shield, obviously.
It's a suit.
because it's a
No.
suit.
It
I'm
is a
calling-
suit.
I still
Now-
think
gotta
he's
be
gonna
a
have
suit.
vibranium wings.
Yes. Well,
Well, you
and
think
here's-
his wings.
That's what
Okay.
I'm calling it. I mean,
I'm hoping that's the case. Now, Black Panther or King T'Challa, he makes him. Yes.
I was hoping it was going to be
In-
something like that. Like,
In the comics,
like
he
Black
does
Panther
make
suit.
him.
so that
a
he can
vibranium
have the
suit.
shield.
but he's still gonna have the wings.
Yeah.
That's who Falcon. That's who he is. Like
It would feel
he's
weird
got
if
to
he
learn
did
like a new fighting technique because he uses his wings all the time.
Yeah,
So he's
yeah.
using wings and shield now?
Why not? Why not be more of a?
I mean,
Okay.
Yeah,
I could
I
see
mean
it.
that's difficult, but
I was about to say,
Yeah.
I'm going to fly.
Like, where do
when
you
I
put the
carry a
shield?
Oh man.
So there's a lot that could happen next episode, and they have a lot of loose ends to wrap up. Like obviously Flag Smashers is a big one.
Yeah.
Sharon Carter's a big one. Val, we're not going to see her again. They've said that it was a one-time deal.
Oh, really?
And so, is John Walker going to reach out to her, answer the phone, etc.? Are we going back to the Raft?
Camera.
Do we find out who the power broker is?
All right.
Well, see, I think Thunderbolt Ross shows up at the Raft, but
Okay, so that ties into my theory
Mhm.
of Power Broker being Thunderbolt Ross.
Aha. He's pulling the strings, which he is totally a character that does that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't start getting that till last
And maybe
episode.
that's Sharon's tying into getting back.
quite possibly.
Yeah, that's my theory. Is that Power Broker is Red Hulk?
Mm.
Well, not at the time, but
Yeah.
Right. But I think
And
it's setting up.
he's pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
which will
again,
set up Thunderbolts too.
That. Yep. Yeah. It could. It could.
It's really good.
B. Before we wrap it up, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I'm curious. I know I'm going to get slapped around for this one.
I suppose you didn't deserve that one either.
No, that one I deserve.
Secret Wars.
Here we go. Ultron.
No,
Oh, yeah,
no. We're not going to go Ultron.
We're talking
He's
about
done.
Secret Invasion.
Yeah, Secret Invasion.
So that ties into, we talked about Thunderbolts is a way to go with Val.
Mm-hmm.
So is Secret Invasion, because we know that Secret Invasion is a Disney Plus series that's going to happen.
That's right.
Does this set that up?
I think it does on some level. I think it does. I mean, at least it makes sense where when that series comes out and we see some of these characters coming back in, at least it's not like out of the blue where it's like, oh, who the heck is this?
Other than this series, what other series that we already know that's on the launching platform would tie that up? It limits it pretty significantly. You got this and maybe Fantastic Four.
Is that a series or a movie?
Maybe it's a movie.
I think it's a movie.
But still, that's a long gap.
But with Secret, I don't even know when Secret Invasion comes out. Do we know that?
No.
'Cause I'm just thinking, like, if this, I want to say it would tie into Secret Invasion, but if it's so far down the line in between Falcon and Secret Invasion, like, I hope they don't introduce a scroll, because we got that at the end of WandaVision. But it makes sense.
I don't want a scroll to show up in the series. I think that would it just wouldn't really fit. It would just kind of be like,
It's like
really?
cosmic and reality. Yeah.
Well, it totally fits.
I mean, it fits, but
I don't think it fits the vibe.
it would come out of left field.
Yeah.
But then again, that's Marvel.
That's Marvel. Whatever they do, I'm looking forward to it. I'm down. I don't care if it's left field. It just I want closure for the next episode. I want some lead up. I want some setup.
I don't think you're getting closure all the way. Maybe in a couple
No,
you gotta wait till the
there's going to be
season
so much left out there.
The same thing happened in WandaVision. We were
Yes, I know, but
guys.
I hate cliffhangers.
Nah, man, they're good.
I mean, like, there's some that I enjoy, but there's a lot where I'm just like, no, I need to know. I want to know now.
right,
Now.
right.
What's in the box?
What is in
Deferred gratification. What's that?
like you know what's in the box, but you're also just like, I'm ready to see what's in the box. I mean, it's like, I wouldn't say that it's going to be on the same level as seeing the Iron Spider. So like,
there was
that reveal came up, and
no.
you're just like, God, that was a sick suit.
Activate kill mode. Oh, that piece right there was just like, woo! All right, moving on. So if you guys are liking what you're seeing and you got any comments, questions, concerns, or you want to know something different, or you want us to do something different, leave it in the comment section of the video. Hit that that notification bell if you want to know when the new episodes are coming out. And as always, subscribe.
That's right.
Right here. You guys take care. Peace.